Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back for another episode of the Adams Moreno Show. Guys, Tulsi Gabbard looked straight into the camera and shared the unthinkable, which was absolutely fantastic. You know, there comes a moment when the curtain gets pulled back long enough for we to actually get the opportunity to choose. Are we going to remain asleep, or are we going to wake up and engage in this world, in this battle for truth? And honestly, what happened today with the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt is nothing short of that. So let's go ahead and dive right in. This is going to be a good one. Also, if you like having conversations here, please consider liking and subscribing. It does make a huge difference.
Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
Ed, go ahead.
Director Gabbard, thank you. So just two questions, but to begin on that. The president yesterday, you've inferred that the former president helped lead a coup. Based on what you now see, do you believe President Obama is guilty of treason?
I'm leaving the criminal charges to the Department of Justice. I'm not an attorney, but as I've said previously, when you look at the intent behind creating a fake manufactured intelligence document that directly contradicts multiple assessments that were created by the intelligence community, the expressed intent and what followed afterward can only be described as a years-long coup and a treasonous conspiracy against the American people, our republic, and an attempt to undermine President Trump's administration.
The Senate Intelligence.
There are multiple pieces of evidence that confirm that fact. Are you kidding me? Tulsi Gabbard just stood on this podium like a general stepping into battle when she said that Obama clearly knew and that he obviously led this a lie and confirmed the direct involvement. I knew something unavoidable was about to take place, but seeing this happen before my eyes is really something. And you know what? You know what else is really something, probably in the worst possible way? When all this, which is incredibly important, is happening, you know what CNN had the audacity to do? CNN literally cut off the feed as our Director of National Intelligence is dropping these giant truth bombs. I'm not kidding. This is wild. Look at this short clip.
Multiple intelligence community assessments released in the months leading up to the November 2016 election concluded that Russia had neither the intent nor capability to impact the outcome of the U.S. election. On December 5th.
We've been listening there to the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, continuing on what is now.
No. Go away. Let's hear her talk. What are you talking about? CNN cuts her off mid-sentence. Why? What possible explanation or excuse do you have for this? You are the news. Your responsibility is to talk about the news and about what happened, and there is no genuine explanation to be cutting off our Director of National Intelligence as she is in the White House press briefing room. My goodness, this makes no sense. And you know what? Unfortunately, CNN made two mistakes today. One mistake was cutting off our Director of National Intelligence. Another mistake was whenever they called on Caitlin Collins from CNN. I believe she is CNN's White House correspondent. And I thought this was a really interesting display because Tulsi Gabbard came so prepared to this room with the facts, with the truth. But you know what? Karoline comes with the fire, all right, the firepower. And I thought this was on just 10x display here. Check it out.
Caitlin. Thank you, Caroline. Two questions for Director Gabbard. Just on this, Director Gabbard, you referenced the past intelligence reports and assessments on this, including that 2017 one that was signed off, as Ed noted, by every Republican on the Senate Intelligence Community, including the acting chair of the time, now Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who said in a statement that they did not find any evidence of Russian collusion, but they did find, however, is very troubling, and they found irrefutable evidence of Russian meddling. One, are you saying that he's wrong in that statement that he made then? And secondly, what would you say to people who believe that you're only releasing
I'm just gonna pause it for a brief second, but I do want us to look at Caroline Leavitt's face right here as Caitlin Collins is talking. Caroline says she's just nodding her head, like, no, 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 you are so wrong. Look at this.
Russian meddling. One, are you saying that he's wrong in that statement that he made then? And secondly, what would you say to people who believe that you're only releasing these documents now to improve your standing with the president after he said that your intelligence assessments were wrong?
Well, first, I want to correct something that you stated, which was citing the Senate Intelligence Committee's report as being one and the same. I think you said the intelligence community. The Senate Intelligence Committee has a very different function than the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. The evidence and the intelligence that has been declassified and released is irrefutable. I'm going to let Karoline speak to Secretary Rubio.
I'll speak to both questions. First, on Secretary Rubio, he put out a statement in 2020 following that Senate Intelligence Committee report, and he said what they found is troubling. We found irrefutable evidence of Russian meddling, which the Director of National Intelligence just confirmed for all of you, that Russia was trying to sow distrust and chaos. But what's the outrage in this that Secretary Rubio did not say at the time, the Democrats were saying at the time, is the fact that the intelligence community was concocting this narrative that the president colluded with the Russians, that the president's son was holding secret meetings with the Russians, all of these lies that were never true. And he also said at that time, we discovered deeply troubling actions taken by the FBI under Comey, particularly their acceptance and willingness to rely on the Steele dossier without verifying its methodology or sourcing. The Steele dossier that many outlets in this room ran as the gospel truth, and it was cooked up and paid for by the Clinton campaign. As for your second question, Caitlin, I think who is saying that she would release this to try to boost her standing with the president? Who has said that?
Well, the president has publicly undermined her when it came to Iran. He said she was wrong. He told me that she didn't know what she was talking about. That was on Air Force One on camera.
The only people who are suggesting that the Director of National Intelligence would release evidence to try to boost her standing with the president are the people in this room who constantly try to sow distrust and chaos amongst the president's cabinet, and it is not working. I will just answer your question directly. I am with the President of the United States every day. He has the utmost confidence in Director Gabbard. He always has. He continues to. And that is true of his entire cabinet, who is all working as one team to deliver on the promises this president made.
It's like I'm watching an old, Western movie, and there was like this a standoff between two characters, and she just torched them all up. Like who is saying that? What, the media? You guys are saying that? Like what do you guys know? Caroline didn't just battle for Tulsi Gabbard, she battled for every single person in Trump's cabinet. And I thought that was so nice. What a team this cabinet is. I loved it. But, this is what our Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, shared on her X. This is new evidence that emerged, right? And this is just the thread of simple lies and truths. And I thought I'd go ahead and read all of it, and you guys could go ahead and, interpret for yourselves. I'm just going to read the infographics, but I do think that's going to be a quick summary. So check this out. New evidence has emerged of the most egregious weaponization and politicization of intelligence in American history. Per President Trump's directive, I've declassified a House Intel Oversight Majority Staff report that exposes how the Obama administration manufactured the January 2017 intelligence community assessment that they knew was false, promoting the lie that Vladimir Putin and the Russian government helped President Trump win the 2016 election. In doing so, they conspired to subvert the will of the people, working with their partners in the media to promote the lie in order to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump, essentially enacting a years-long coup against him. All right, and here is that infographic. I believe we already went over this in another video, so I'm going to go to the lies and the truths. All right, here's the first one. Lie. Putin and the Russian government helped Trump win the 2016 election. The truth is President Obama, former CIA Director Brennan, and others fabricated the Russia hoax, suppressing evidence showing Putin was preparing for a Clinton victory. All right, so the next one is lie. The Steele dossier was not used as a source in the 2017 Obama intelligence community assessment. The truth is not only did Brennan, Comey, Clapper, and others include the dossier, they overruled senior intel officials who warned them it was fabricated and should not be used. They were warned, and they still decided to go against it. My goodness. Lie, truth. The lie is the Obama admin in 2017 ICA was an independent IC product produced with apolitical analysis. The truth is that Obama ordered the intelligence community assessment they knew was false, promoting a contrived narrative with the intent of undermining the legitimacy and power of a duly elected president of the United States, President Trump. My goodness. And Tulsi Gabbard ends off this thread by saying, oh, here it is. Tulsi, sorry. Together, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence records released on Friday, the Justice Department's June 2018 report known as the Clinton Annex, released earlier this week, and the House Intel Oversight Report we released today confirm what many Americans have known. The Russia hoax was a lie that was knowingly created by the Obama administration to undermine the legitimacy and power of the duly elected President of the United States, Donald Trump. It's interesting that the first tweet here right above this is balls of steel. And you know what? It takes a lot of guts to do what Tulsi Gabbard is doing. My goodness. We are watching a decade of lies crumble, a decade of deceit and corruption being brought to daylight. And Gabbard is just letting the chips fall where they may. This is the transparency. This is the honesty that millions of people voted for in November. And we get a front row seat in watching all this happen. And I love it. Anyways, let me know what we thought about this video. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? What do you want to see more of? And how do you feel about Tulsi Gabbard these days? All right. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. If you made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing. It really does go a very, very long ways. I have a little goal. I'm trying to reach 50,000 subscribers, and we're getting so close. So if you want to help me on that journey, if you want to be on this journey of us elevating the conversation, having important, meaningful discussions here where you could go ahead and dissect things a little bit and have meaningful conversations in the comment sections, be part of this. All right. Let's do this thing together. All right, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Episode's over already? Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.